Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be working on a Blackberry Trellis to support the weight of these really large canes that are coming up this year. This is only the second year since we planted these blackberry plants and they are already taking over. We want to keep these in their area. They're falling over on some of our apple trees and taking up much more room. We already have a ton of blackberries on these plants. These are all from the canes that were growing last year, went through the winter, and now they have blackberries on it. Then all of the taller canes are just first year canes. Since they grew this spring and summer, they grow rapidly through that time, and then next year they'll be ready to grow some blackberries. So I'm going to be building a really easy, simple trellis using some T-posts and wire, and you can move it whenever you need to. So I'll show you guys in just a minute how to do exactly that. Now before I get started, just wanted to say sorry for the camera focus. For some reason it wasn't focusing properly or the lens was blurred, and I've got a little bit of a blur here. I set it up, pressed record, did the project, and didn't realize it was a little blurry until I was finished with the project, so sorry about that. But I'm going to start by pounding 8-foot long T-posts into the ground. This is what's going to create the trellis and support all of the weight from these blackberries. I'll drive each of these T-posts into the ground at least 1 foot to 1.5 feet. That'll be plenty, but that will give me 6.5 to 7 feet above the ground. Next, I'm going to take some fencing wire and run lines down the T-post, connecting all of them together, giving a nice stable area for those canes to weave in between and support the weight. I'm going to start with the top wire mainly because my plants have already grown. This would be a lot easier if you're starting with blackberry plants either before you plant them or while they're still small. But I'm going to have to weave this in between the existing canes. So what I'm going to do is start with that first one, and then I'll take the wire on the next row and go on the right side of the canes. The next row will go on the left side and back and forth. That way it will kind of sandwich those canes together and they can't fall back out. I'm also taking 6-inch pieces of wire, wrapping it around the T-post and the wire, and then twisting it really tight with some pliers that will hold it in place and keep it from falling down the T-post. Now another thing I'm going to do to help support the weight, this is a pretty long trellis, and I feel like with all of those blackberry plants there's going to be quite a bit of weight and could potentially bend the end T-post in. And so what I'm going to do is take an old rusty T-post here that I've cut in half, one for each end. I'll hammer that down into the ground and run a wire from that stake all the way up to the top of the end T-post, and I can tighten that down and that will support all that weight that's going to be pulling down on those end T-posts. After fastening this in place, I'll wrap it around the post and tighten it down as much as I can by hand. I'll then take a screwdriver, and I've got 2 wires here, so I'll put the screwdriver in between the wires and just start twisting it around, and it'll basically twist these wires and braid them together almost. Once that gets tight enough, I'll just pull the screwdriver out, and that will support all of the weight that's being put on those end T-posts. So I'll go to the other end, do the same thing, get that wrapped up, and then I will start running the rest of the wires across these T-posts, connecting them all together and holding up all of those canes. Once I have that all finished up, I'm going to take the longest canes and try to hook them on that top wire, get them out of the way so that I can start weaving that wire in between all of these canes and I don't break anything. Now for that second wire, it might be a little hard to see, but I'm gonna weave this now on the side facing the camera, so you'll be able to see the wire on this side of all of those canes. The next one, I'm gonna put it on the far side away from the camera, and it'll help support that back side. Now as I add each wire down the line, now it's a little bit shorter, so I'm going to go through the line and make sure that there's no canes that height that I can now hook on that wire before going lower. So I'm just going through, checking, making sure everything looks good and everything's supported. If it's too short, I'll wait for the next wire to come down and check that cane again and see if it will reach. All right, so here's the finished blackberry and raspberry trellis. Works great. If you want something a little bit prettier, I've got another video for you. You can go check that out. Down here, I didn't really care as much what it looked like. I just needed it to work and be functional, easy to set up. And if I ever want to move these blackberry plants, which I will eventually because they're getting a little too close to these apple trees as the apple trees continue to expand. But this works great. It's movable if I need to. This is gonna work out perfectly for what I need. I planted these blackberry and raspberry plants last summer. So this is the first year of fruit. And you can see the first year of fruit is only in this tiny little bush here. All of these big canes growing up this year, which is reaching now 9 to 10 feet tall. All of this is new. This is what I planted last year. So what I'm gonna do once these are done fruiting and all the fruit has ripened, I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of this old growth back and just leave these new canes. The new canes, after it goes through the winter, next spring, this will be what the fruit is on next year, the second year cane. So everything else I'll trim out and clean this up, leave the tall canes going up the side, and hopefully next year this is just gonna be loaded with blackberries. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a really easy, simple trellis build. If you did like this video, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts. Thanks so much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to check out some more of my gardening videos. If you want to see that nicer looking trellis that I created for our blackberries, you can go check it out right here on the screen, or you can visit my channel and find many more videos like this one.